Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's a big show. It's a big show. Yo, we got a big sports week. We had a lot going on, man, whether it was college basketball, whether it was Coach K's last game, whether it was the World Cup news coming up. We have a bunch of stuff that's laying down on the line. We got some USC news. We got boxing. Yo, at the end of the day, this is the Sports is My Love Language podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with my crew like we are every single week. Welcome to our living room where we have a group of friends that we're going to dig deep and deep dive into these different topics that mainstream media just kind of tippy toes around or doesn't really, maybe they have a vested interest with a company or money on the line. They don't want to get canceled. Well, guess what? We're going to talk about it. But not only that, we're going to show you one thing that I think has been lost in this generation, especially on the internet, that we're allowed to agree to disagree. You know what I'm saying? We have all walks of life, all different people from all different backgrounds. Everybody has an opinion. But guess what? At the end of the day, we're all friends. I hear your opinion. I don't agree with it. Cool. Let's keep it moving. So we're trying to show you how that goes. What we do need is for people to log in, chime in, copy, paste, or share. Let us know your thoughts. Be interactive with us. It always makes the show a better time. So now, ladies and gentlemen, what I want to do is I want to introduce you to my crew. First and foremost, let's start off with my boy, El Schefter. Here's how it goes, man. If the news comes up, I guarantee you he has it first. Whether it's football, whether it's trade, whatever it is, he got the name from somewhere. It's El Schefter. Then we got my man. And whenever we need to find out what the rules are, hey, man, how would you have called that? Was that a bad call? Who do we go to? Our man, Sean, a.k.a. Mr. Official. Now we got the first ladies back. How you doing, Jen? How's everything? That's the first lady of our podcast, Miss Jen Vega. I appreciate you. I know you were missing last week. We missed you. We got coming up Ed Colombiano, a.k.a. Mr. World Cup, a.k.a. Mr. Worldwide, my man, Javito. We got my man. Let me tell you something. Ladies and gentlemen, keep an eye out for what's coming for this gentleman. Yeah. Right now, you know, he's one of our talk show hosts, but I don't know how long we're going to be able to keep him, man. I'm going to tell you like that because he's about to pop. Ladies and gentlemen, he's a pop icon. He's a Caribbean guy. My man Dre, a.k.a. Major Money. Now, he hasn't popped up yet, but he will any second now. Our guy, a.k.a. is going to be coming on. And, you know, he's a local Philly guy, the Philly lover, so he'll be popping up any second. All right, guys. Yo, we had a really interesting pre-production meeting. I really liked a lot of the directions we went in, and we kind of settled on a couple of topics. One of the topics we talked about, right, and it's huge right now, it is the Tiger Woods effect, right? The Tiger Woods effect on golf. It is amazing to me, okay? I forgot where I saw it. I think it was Pat McAfee that reported it. There was some betting lines talking about the over-under on what the ratings would be if Tiger actually played, right? This is before it was clear he was going to play or not. Well, guess what? He comes out, and now he's going to play. Well, here's the thing. They're projecting that the ratings are going to be as high as some NBA playoff games. Meanwhile, so again, I don't want to throw out solid numbers. These are the numbers. I'm just going to use these as examples. They were saying that without Tiger Woods playing, let's just say on a scale of 1 to 10, the ratings would have been, let's say, a 2, which is fairly low. It's golf. You know what I'm saying? It'll be somewhere on CBS. Nobody really watching it. Kind of maybe at a glance if you're a big fan of the sport. With Tiger Woods, his practice rounds are getting baseball playoff coverage. Mm-hmm. His practice rounds that they're sold out. There's people there reporting in the media. Then they have they're projecting that his rounds when they air are going to be some of the most watched television of the early first quarter of the year. That is a crazy effect of somebody who transcends a sport. I'm interested to know your thoughts. Are you people that follow the sport, or are you somebody like me that's only watching it, let's say because Tiger's going to be in there, or only paying attention when Tiger plays? Jen, what are your thoughts?
Um, okay, so I'm going to get a lot of flack for this. I definitely, yes, the ratings are going to be huge because of him. But any PGA tournament, players are required to walk. They cannot use a golf cart.
Yeah.
And right now, his trouble is not his swing, it's walking from hole to hole. He's already said it. I think he'll make it in the top 20, but I don't see him making it to Sunday. And that is the big day. I don't think he's going to break the top 10. And I hate saying that because I really, really, really want him to do well. I want this to be his comeback story. But I just don't think he's going to be able to do it, unfortunately. If you watched any of the action of him and his son, even just walking from the golf cart to the tee was hard for him.
Dude, as somebody that understands completely, that shit is no joke, man.
Yeah.
When you have lower back issues or lower, it is, yeah, man.
And it's not just his back; it's his leg. It's his leg that was shattered. So he got very lucky in that his tee time on Thursday, his tee time tomorrow, I want to say, is an early one, and then his tee time on Friday is the afternoon. So he'll have that recoup time in between, but I just don't know if he's going to be the Tiger that we all want him to be.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. I mean, that's that's the tough one, man. That's the tough one. Like, what are we setting ourselves up for?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what is the actual expectation? I think that there's two things going on. There's the magic of Tiger, where we all kind of like the romance of who he was and what he represents and the sport, and then what we're actually going to get. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very clear that he's not the same guy. No. But even with that, my question to you guys is half a Tiger worth its weight in gold when it comes to golf?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, especially because you lost Phil Mickelson, because he withdrew from playing because of everything that went on with the Abu Dhabi League. And Tiger's a draw, plain and simple. Augusta would not be as packed as it is right now. It would not have the traffic that it has right now if it wasn't for Tiger Woods.
No, I don't think so either. Akil, what are your thoughts on the Tiger situation, the Tiger effect on golf?
I tend to prefer Lions over Tigers, but I'll make an exception for this one.
Not every show, bro. Every time.
Tiger is impeccable.
I think it's good for golf as long as he hangs around because it gives more viewership. More people are watching. There's no question. Like I grew up in a time where, I'm probably only, 10 years younger than Tiger. I don't what is he, 50, 51? Whatever age.
46. He's 46.
46.
Okay, so I'm not even 10 years younger than him. But I saw the difference in minorities. I saw the difference in casual fans watching Tiger. So I'm all for Tiger competing. He's going to get the treatment that's not comparative to what his current performance is, but that's kind of par for the course, right? And when you're that crucial to the economics of a sport, that's you deserve it. So I'm certainly in favor of Tiger in whatever aspect that he can contribute to help those young guys. And it's amazing because none of those guys get anywhere near the pub that Tiger did, as they shouldn't. He was unbelievable, or Phil, or even like Daly. Like, even, it's just the new guys are pretty good, but I don't see DeChambeau, I don't see Smith, I don't see a lot of these guys getting that. So I'm for Tiger. I think it's great. I love to see minorities in sports, and it reminds me of the Chris Rock joke that he made back in the day where he said,
hey, don't get slapped. Chill.
I'm trained in self-defense, actually. So he said, and this was when Eminem was hot. He was like, "It's crazy that the best golfer in the world is black and the best rapper in the world is white."
Yeah.
That's funny.
So that I thought was hilarious. But no, I'm all for Tiger, man. Good for him. I don't know about him as a person. It doesn't really matter, but he's good for the sport.
Bobby, do you watch? Does it change how you view golf at all, or is it still like, you don't care?
I'm out. I'm out, man. I got nothing for golf right now, man. I love it's Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, and there's always some other guy that got Rory something, and that's all I got with golf, man. I don't watch.
I love it.
Dre, what are your thoughts on Tiger coming back?
I think it's not even really about golf. It's about his iconic image. Why it means anything, because he's, like Jen said, I agree with what she said. He's not making it to Sunday and shit, but it's just more people are gonna watch if he wears the red Nike shirt with the black pants, and it's just that kind of stuff. So that's why it's good, like AK said, but I don't think he's gonna compete with those young guns that those guys been tearing up the courses. So I don't think Tiger's in any way gonna be competing for the jacket.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's just gonna be there to help get more people to watch what's going on, because like Javi's not gonna watch it, I'm not gonna watch, and I don't know.
Here's the thing, right? When we say not gonna watch, right? Here's the way I look at it. I'm not gonna watch, right? I'm not gonna watch. But here's what I will do. I will put some attention on it. Some shit that normally I could care less. You know, I went to the Honda Classic. I was up there. I went up to the Honda Classic. I was there with a friend. We hung out, got drunk. Everybody, it was fun. It was cool, right? I saw how many people actually go. It was a nice time. I'm not gonna lie to you, right?
Mhm.
But I didn't recognize a soul that was playing golf. Not one soul that was hitting a ball. I didn't know who the hell they were, right? So I was talking to a couple of guys, and even before anything with Tiger, one of the guys was telling me he was three shits to when this guy was obliterated drunk, was trying to tell me how when Tiger was on the course, how every other part of the course would be empty, and everybody, to a man, would be watching him, whether it was a warm-up, whether it was just a warm-up round, whether it was whatever. So again, I'm not going to be watching either, not on TV, nothing like that. But what I do, which I catch myself doing now, is I put my awareness on it. I put my awareness on the sport. I find out, hey, so like at some point during the week, during the playing, I'm going to check in and be like, yo, let's see what he shot. What did he do? What kind of round of golf did he have? Just to pay attention. Not really a fan or anything, but just because it's Tiger. You know what I mean? So he's definitely an athlete that transcends the sport. He's much bigger than golf. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think, maybe within the sport, there's been people that compare to him. But if you put him and you talk to your average Joe of the world, a lot of them don't know who the Golden Bear is. A lot of them don't know who, these guys are. No. But you tell them who Tiger is, they're like, oh, yeah, Tiger Woods. That's Tiger Woods. You know what I'm saying? So my second, if anybody else wants to chime in on the Tiger thing, probably got anything to talk about?
Yeah, really quick. I'm not an avid, golf watcher, obviously, but I do know a lot of the names. I couldn't tell you what their skill sets are, who's good at driving, who's good at putting or whatever. But I'll probably have it on in the background since I, work from home. So I'll probably have it on in the background tomorrow and Friday. And then if he does make the cut, I probably will pay a little more attention over the weekend. And to your point, Jen, like you said, he did say the walking is going to be the hardest part. But luckily, this course doesn't have rough. It's easier to walk compared to the others. So at least it's better for him as opposed to if it would have been one of the other major courses where there has a rough and stuff like that. And he knows that course probably better than anybody.
Oh, yeah, than anyone.
Definitely more than any other course he's ever played. He knows it really well. Yeah. So, I think he's got a puncher's chance.
And he's been there all week.
you know. So, and as far as like, you know, the ratings, yeah, I mean, he's a boost. He's several million people worth, you know, of a boost in the ratings. But I still think, I mean, last year golf had good ratings. Obviously, I think COVID bump helped with that. But there are a lot of good players out there right now. You know that obviously the hardcore fans know about really well. But I mean, you've got all these guys, you know, the Kepkas and the DeChambeaus and the Jordan Spieth, you know, that are competitive. You know, it wasn't like with him gone that there was like, you know, aren't these, you know, names at the top, you know, for the people that do watch. So that, you know, it's still there. Like I said, overall the ratings were pretty good last year, higher than normal.
Let me ask you a question, Pablo. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you feel that the way golf is covered, the way the media covers golf, changes when Woods is in there?
Yeah, he's always a boost. No matter what, he's always a boost.
Does it seem like it's more about the backstory, the personality, his history with his dad, it being a child prodigy?
No, not right now. For this right now, it's the comeback of the injury.
Yeah.
You know, I don't. You know, like I said, I think at best he has a puncher's chance. I would like to see him, you know, after a couple of tournaments in, if he can kind of get going and get with it. You know, I don't think realistically we can expect him to come in and win this tournament clean, cold, off of almost having your foot cut off. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think he's got a puncher's chance. I think he can make the cut. I don't know if he'll be in the leaderboard. Some people feel that he'll be in the leaderboard, but even if he makes the cut, to me, that's a win for him.
He's got the personality of a mannequin. But I think
that's what I don't understand.
First of all, I got two things to say. Number one, I'm rooting for Tiger to place so that way he can afford a place like Sean's. Well job with the piano, Sean.
Nice.
and then second thing I got to say is now I hate Tiger. I'm upset with Tiger Woods because of him we had to talk golf for 18 minutes.
Yeah, man. That's the Tiger effect. That's the Tiger effect.
That's the Tiger effect.
I'm going to just put my 2 cents in, okay? I don't like golf. I'm not a big fan of it, but I'm a big fan of train wrecks. And my man had a rough time. You know, he made some mistakes. He did some things.
Statistically, he has the most car crashes, right, as a golfer, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? I don't know.
And
man.
you know, I root for those people. You know, we're not perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. You know, so I'm gonna root for Tiger. So that's my 2 cents.
All right, guys. All right, so we're gonna follow that up because Tiger has us talking about golf, right? Casual people that don't really keep into the sport, and we see that when he plays, he has a real effect. There's a real effect. I have a question for you guys. Is there a player or an athlete, right? Is there an athlete in this generation or in the past, you can be, wherever you want to go with it, that transcends their sport? That is a guy that you can grab him and basically drop him anywhere in the world, country. We can live in it's a country, we could go world, it's up to you guys. And people are going to know who he is outside of his sport.
Are we talking about
his sport?
Or her, guy or girl.
Currently?
We can do take it wherever you want. Let's start with currently. Maybe we can go. Obviously there's a couple that we can go worldwide. But let's start within the country right now. USA sports. Let's go currently. Is there anybody? NBA, NFL. Is there anybody that you see?
Bruce Jenner.
Caitlyn.
I mean, right?
Caitlyn, yes. He's no longer Bruce.
Caitlyn Jenner,
Caitlyn.
right? She transcends.
He never felt like Bruce.
Because the sponsors.
He definitely trans.
Where's the fucking mute button? I'm panicking looking for the fucking mute button.
Dump.
Yo, yeah, is anybody?
Don't get me wrong.
I'm gonna throw some names out.
I'm sure Leah Thomas looked up to her. I mean him or her. Which one are we talking about now? I'm confused.
Man, I'm gonna name I'm gonna name some players, right? And you guys can go yeah or nay. It's up to you, or you guys can name your own player. But
I'll name one right now, like Steph Curry. That's it. Like,
yes, I think in the NBA, we talked about it yesterday. In the NBA, how many players transcend the NBA? How many players are as big as the brand right now?
Obviously, LeBron is the easy one.
LeBron is there.
I would agree with Steph.
Steph.
Just not by a lot. Like obviously not LeBron level, but he crossed that line. You know, the Transcends sport line.
The household name, yeah.
But I think the commercials do that. Obviously, you know, the State Farm commercials.
I think his height does that as well.
I think as far as transcending the game, Steph got more people trying to do what he does than LeBron has people trying to do what he does.
Yeah, I mean, like you got more people trying to shoot from the logo now.
But that's still within the game. I mean, are we
Yeah.
still talking about anything outside of the game that transcends the sport or not? I mean, everyone's definition can be obviously will vary.
Do you guys remember?
Because we know LeBron is
jump shooting was
stuff
dead?
outside of
Hold on. Okay, what do you think?
They used to say that jump shooting was dead 10, 12 years ago, and all people were doing was dunking, and now it's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to the long ball. It's a freaking three-point shot. Okay, so Pablo, you were saying about Steph?
Well, no, I mean, we know he's impacted the game itself, so I still kind of categorize that within the game. But if your original point was if you put that person out in the middle of Middle America where people know who that is, then we're talking outside of their sport.
Let's stay with the NBA.
Okay.
And let's go into the past. Who in the past? Obviously, let's avoid the low hanging fruit, like a Michael Jordan. But who else do you think was somebody who could have transcended the sport, or was on the verge, or may have even like become bigger at one point?
Magic Johnson.
Magic, yeah.
Magic Bird.
No pun intended. He took all the food, whether it was low hanging or high hanging.
The Bird Magic rivalry as well, within its own self.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I agree. I got one, right? And tell me if you agree or disagree.
Well,
because it was for a very short window. So work with me now. I'm not saying forever, but for a short window, this guy transcended the sport.
AI.
Grandmama, Larry Johnson.
You had to be a follower to really know Larry Johnson. I mean, you're talking about.
You remember those commercials? Everybody had a freaking that disgusting Charlotte Hornet starter.
Yeah, no, agree.
I think
people like sports.
I think what happened with Larry Johnson, he's got injured very early in his career.
Yeah.
So like that's why we never kept on hearing about Larry Johnson after that.
Yeah, so he's another. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. Drake.
No, it's on you, Drake.
I was gonna say he's kind of like Penny Hardaway. Remember Penny Hardaway with the shoes and the little penny and Tyra Banks, his girlfriend and all of that, and then he got hurt,
and that was it.
Right. So it's kind of
he became a really good player to just a good to an average.
Exactly.
He became Zoe's sidekick, man.
Right.
Like, you know.
Allen Iverson did.
What about
I think AI like a lot. Everybody AI was one of those that could have been basically a transcendent. Everybody loved the way he played. Was tough, gritty, and practice.
No, I think what, Javi? I think that you fucking nailed something right there, because if we look at AI, I think his impact on the game is not just on the basketball court.
No, the braids, and the the big shorts and the not going to practice, and
he might have not been mainstream. He might have not been mainstream, right? Like in the sense that we're talking, but he definitely at one point crossed over to hip hop. And he became that look. The guy who, he was the reason for a dress code in the NBA all of a sudden.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct. And I will also say that it was the hip hop era of the 90s that also triggered, the dress code. Without a doubt. They started to see, the baggy clothes, the lyrics.
Who started that?
Wait, what?
Who do you attribute? In your mind, who do you attribute like the first kind of like hip hop-ish look?
The Fab Five.
The Fab Five. I was about to say that. Yup, with the big shorts.
Great call, okay.
They were in college.
Yep, Michigan. How about this? Shaquille O'Neal, definitely.
Shaquille,
yeah.
And Will Chamberlain too.
He was a rapper, bro.
He's Shazam.
Shaquille and Will Chamberlain too, man. Will Chamberlain got bodies, bro.
Will Chamberlain
over 20,000, right?
He got famous off of that.
bro. I mean, Will Chamberlain. Will Chamberlain's a beast.
I'm gonna say a name right now. I'm gonna say a name.
He's
right
dropping
now.
dimes.
For sure. I'm gonna say Diego Maradona.
Oh yeah,
yes,
he transcended soccer.
Yeah.
All right, everybody knows the name Maradona.
He did. Yeah,
Everybody.
even if you never watched him play, you
know the
who
name.
that was.
You know the name. So he's
I'll give you-
transcended.
I'll give you one in football, old school, that transcended his sport, good and bad. OJ.
OJ.
Yeah.
OJ.
Absolutely.
He was in movies. He was in the
Absolutely.
Naked Gun movies.
He was
right?
Nordberg, bro. Nordberg.
Yeah,
he was.
bro.
Yeah,
He was
he was.
great. He used to do the
got
Hertz
cut.
commercials, right? The Hertz rental car commercials.
had the Hertz
Everybody
commercial.
knew who he was. You could
He had
drop
the-
him anywhere, and yeah, oh, that's OJ back in the 70s and 80s. And
Right.
yeah, you could drop OJ anywhere and be like, oh yeah, look, that's a murderer right there.
Yeah.
So
They still
he
know
still
him.
does it. They still
White
do
White
it.
fathers would have offered up their daughter to OJ back in the day. That's how he was.
Yeah.
He was so like
That's a fact.
revered. Yeah.
Is Bo Jackson in a transcendent category? I'm not sure. I'll tell you who I
think
think.
because-
I think so. I think he was
Bo
getting
knows.
there until
Small
the
window.
injury.
Bono.
Small time
because of the cross sports, the being able to play professional level, and I think you have to, because then you got to say Deion Sanders. You know what I'm
came
saying?
after Bo. Like he took
Mike,
it and he ran with it. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So if
Yeah.
I was gonna say Deion, but you got to give Bo the nod if I'm gonna try to say Deion, you know.
I'm going to tell you who my guy is. My guy. The only thing you can say to say maybe not unequivocally is that it's baseball, and maybe they don't play baseball all over the world, but Jackie Robinson, man.
Yeah.
Good one, man.
I was thinking about mentioning him.
Jackie Robinson.
Babe Ruth.
Yeah,
Babe
Babe
Ruth,
Ruth
of
is
course.
another
Jack-
one.
Muhammad
Jackie
Ali.
Robinson.
Muhammad Ali. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Okay.
number one. He's number
There's
one.
no
in that
bigger.
category,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And then
Now
number
I'm
two-
gonna go tennis, and I'm going with Serena Williams. She
Yeah.
she
That was very good.
she works. Not only was she the GOAT in tennis, but she works with about 18 different charities, not including her own. She's part owner of the Dolphins, part owner of a new women's soccer team in LA. She has her own clothing line. She's got her fingers in everything. She's acted. She's done everything across the board. And you could put her in India, they would know who she is. You could put her in England, they would know who she is. You could put her in Australia, China, anywhere, and they would know who she is.
Without a
The
doubt.
only place I didn't recognize her was the Beyonce video.
Oh, really?
How about this? I didn't recognize her at the Oscars, yo. She looked a little funky.
I want to give honorable mention for some transcendent voices. John Madden and Dick Vitale.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah.
Well, let's not forget Michael Buffer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
Michael
get
Buffer.
rid
Yeah, man.
Vin Scully.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that from Chicago? Is he from Chicago?
No, Vin Scully was LA Dodgers.
Oh,
LA
Dodgers.
Harry
so-
Carey was
Harry
Harry
Carey.
Carey was Chicago. Fantastic restaurant, by the way.
I'm gonna
Who's
go.
the guy?
Who
It was
used to
funny.
be the one that used to interview Muhammad Ali a lot? What's his name?
Oh, Howard Cosell.
Howard
Oh,
Cosell.
good stuff.
Right.
How about this? Okay, so
Joe Buck.
I can't
Joe
say
Buck.
yo, easily
Joe Buck
the
is a
most
legend, bro.
easily the most
He's so
punchable face.
hated, but
Most
he's-
hated, but
everybody
loved.
knows who Joe Buck is.
You
bro.
gotta know him. You know him.
Easily the
No.
most punchable face in all broadcasting, bro.
That's
Easily.
transcending right there, man.
Yeah,
That's
it's like
transcending
right
right there, bro.
I don't.
Okay.
I mean,
What about
I wish I could punch him right now.
what about right
That's
now?
just because you're mad about the money he's getting.
I got
I
one for you.
got-
Wait, before you go right now, I got one for you. Hulk Hogan, bro.
Oh,
Oh,
The
for
Rock.
sure.
Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Undertaker.
Yeah.
I think he's
Undertaker's
more.
right there.
Not outside the sport.
Hulk Hogan
Yeah, he's
is
more
like
fan.
he put it on the map though.
You
Like,
might
I say The
Hogan
Rock
is-
is the most
the Rock the most, yeah.
Mhm.
because of his acting.
Of the
But
modern
within the
day.
sport, I say
Mike
Hulk
Tyson.
Hogan.
But with no Hulk Hogan,
Mike
there's no
Tyson.
wrestling.
Easy. Mike Tyson.
yeah.
You can drop Mike Tyson.
Ah.
Yo, Mike Tyson
Anyway,
tells
yeah.
stories, right? On his hot boxing podcast. He tells a story about how he was getting off the plane in some country. I don't even remember what the name was. He's getting off the plane, visiting some sultan or some like big wig. And he's getting off the plane. He says that one of the workers, one of the stewardesses, grabbed him and threw him into the closet to have sex with him. And he said that would happen to him repeatedly around the world. That women would just grab him and like just want him. And I was like, holy shit.
Well, how do you think Wilt Chamberlain got to 20,000?
Yo, man, listen. I don't know. I'm 43 years old, bro. I get tired just hearing that number.
Yeah.
Yo, Jesus Christ, bro. I need a nap already. No, I'm good. What do you call it? All right, so I got a question. I got to play it for you.
Make the sandwich and shit.
Smoke a cigarette.
Fuck that. I gotta play it for you guys right now. Let's address Gen Z. Generation Z, right now, this generation. There's players that I think, I mentioned one yesterday, that are as popular outside of the sport as they are for the actual sport that they play. I'm going to say a player like my man Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham has been an average receiver over the last, maybe sometimes even below average, over the last, 4 years?
Since he got to Cleveland, he was really average.
Yeah, he got to Cleveland, so it's 3 years. Let's say 3 years. Been a below average receiver. Yet his star, he gets talked about regularly, like if he's still a number one. You know what I mean? And a lot of it has to do with his pop culture status. His views on whether it's a TikTok video, his views on the internet, Instagram, the pictures and all that shit. So I would name him as somebody that within this generation definitely stands out, is kind of almost a little bit bigger than the sport. You know what I'm saying? I thought Juju was trying to get there, but apparently he's not going to be doing TikToks anymore. So, which is a good thing.
I kind of have a... It's like a Tic Tac, but it tastes different. But
I don't. Yeah.
But I have a kind of a asterisk type feeling about today's not necessarily athletes, but today's way of becoming famous. It seems like it's fairly easier to get yourself out there. I mean, obviously with the technology and everything like that. So what is now transcending? I mean, I don't see OBJ as transcending. I see him as widely famous outside of his sport. I will agree with that.
But I don't even think he does like social media stunts either, though.
But I think I'm going to view almost any athlete today with like, well, yeah, it's kind of easy to get yourself out there now, everywhere, right? Quicker than in the past. I'm not saying that it's a wrong, that they're not famous, but I'm just saying,
OBJ in general, is he like? He's not putting out TikToks, is he? Like, I don't even know if he has a TikTok.
I mean,
he does dances. He does a lot of shit, man. Right now.
He does
Instagram, yeah.
But so do a lot of athletes, is what I'm saying. So it's like, I mean, I could almost fill it.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, think about it like this: a lot of athletes do it, yet somehow, some way, he has managed to. His followers alone, he's got one of the largest followings in all of sports.
Well, the boost first came when he came into the league with his performance early on, and then
I think the look. Don't get me wrong. I think his look, the blonde hair,
that's the flag, and his antics on the field as well.
Yeah, the one-handed catches went viral.
The fight that he had with Josh Norman, the fight that he had with the field goal net. Like it's just just news. But like he was let's put it this way, man. He was a great receiver for like about 3 years, man. Like he might have been the top receiver. I know a lot of people are gonna say Julio Jones, at that moment, but like Odell Beckham was the guy that like you couldn't really cover one-on-one.
Like you saw what Chase and Jefferson did, right? The past year, like he was that. He was just instant impact like that. You know what I'm saying? In that that rookie year. I mean, it just started downhill when that first knee injury in New York. I mean, that's kind of where it started, unfortunately for him. But then he showed that this past year he still got it, and then sadly again, same shit for him.
I mean, I think that's his third ACL tear, right?
Second.
That's a tough man.
I don't think he tore it in Cleveland. What did he injure himself in Cleveland? Maybe, or was it the knee again?
Yeah, it
the Heat?
was. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know he got with the Giants one time, Cleveland once, and now the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, I knew he had an injury that he was out in Cleveland. I don't remember, but you're right. You're probably right. It probably was a knee. But
All
yeah,
right.
for the
So we're going to move on to our next topic. We're going to go into a big. At the end of the season, and I think it's pretty much a three-headed race right now. I mean, let me know if I'm wrong, but I think it's Jokic, Giannis, and Joel Embiid. My question is, in your opinion, guys, who do you think is in the lead? Who do you think is going to close the show and win the MVP for the NBA? Dre, let's start with you. Dre, you're on mute.
Sorry about that. I think that is going to be Giannis. I think that momentum is very important, and style points. I don't want to take Pablo's whole point, but it's along the lines of what he was saying in the pre-production meeting about the most recent memorable victories against other top contenders. If the race is very close, then that's all you really have to base them on, you know. So, and he's been beating everybody, quietly averaging, waiting for Chris Middleton to get his game together, and now that they got the duo back, I don't see how Giannis isn't gonna lock it up. Jokic, I think, could be it, but I feel like they don't want to say that Jokic is a multiple winner, MVP winner yet. I feel like they're not ready to give, because he doesn't look like he lifts weights or runs at all in the summer, you know. So it's like, is the world ready for that type of multiple NBA MVP? I think they should, because Luka's gonna win multiple, and Luka doesn't have muscle either. They said it's like soft fat, but it's like hard. That's how NBA players describe Luka's body. So
He's got best friend face, best friend body.
Right. So, but Giannis is going to win the MVP in my opinion.
Okay. Akil, who do you got?
Is there a question?
Yeah, MVP.
We're good. No, I'm saying for who I got, that's Joel Embiid.
I thought you were going to say Ben Simmons.
Can't believe I thought
that. And I'll say the argument with Joel over Giannis is that he hasn't had as much help on that team. He's been doing most of this season without his second best player. Harden played a total of 21 games so far. He'll end up playing 24. The second best player on his team was either Seth Curry or Tobias Harris, who are good players, but you're not winning a championship unless they're your fourth or fifth best player. And we are 1.5 games out of first place. Embiid is absolutely dominant. I think you can give Giannis the MVP any year. You're not going to be wrong. Giannis is that good. I think Jokic, you obviously could give the MVP, but I honestly don't think, if you look at until Harden came, I couldn't say the Sixers roster was really much better than Denver's even without Murray and Porter. So,
right.
I think that it's too close. And since those other two guys got it, you give it to Embiid. He leads the league in scoring, the most 30 and 10-point games, the most 40-point games. This dude is a killer. And Giannis and Embiid have one thing over Jokic that's big, which is defense. They're both top 5 defensive players in the league.
Yep.
Top 5. And Jokic is nowhere near that.
Not close.
I give it to Embiid because of the season he's had. He's had less help than Giannis. Obviously, you can't argue if Giannis gets it, but I strongly endorse Joel Embiid. I think it's this year. And then I think next year, the three of them with maybe Luka or KD can kind of figure out what's going to happen. But I go strong for Embiid. He just dropped 45 yesterday. We're playing the Pacers, the Raptors, and the Pistons for the rest of the season. He's gonna go out there and get between 40 and 50 every night.
Every night, yeah. He can too.
He can anytime he wants.
Javi, where you rolling with it? Who's your MVP?
RJ Barrett, baby. No, I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Giannis. I just think, when it comes down to it, he's like a slash, right? He's kind of point guard, kind of your post up guy, kind of the guy that just basically hangs on the perimeter. You know, he dishes. You know, he's basically what LeBron James used to be, but with defense. With defense, there's no way you're going to tell me LeBron
You think
James
he can pass like LeBron?
Yeah.
Nah, he can't pass like LeBron, though.
What do you
He's
mean?
a good passer, but not
He's a good passer, but LeBron is an exceptional passer.
LeBron's an elite passer.
He can't shoot like LeBron could at any point in his career either.
LeBron and Jokic, to me, are two of the most elite passers I have ever seen of the basketball.
Okay.
I mean, he can pass. I'm not knocking Giannis at all. But
he's
LeBron makes
6 assists, and he's not even your point guard. He does let's just think about that. He doesn't take the ball up as much as LeBron. LeBron has the ball probably out of the 24 second shot clock. He probably has it for a good 16 seconds.
That's a fact.
All right. Giannis probably has it for about 8 to 10 seconds.
Right.
And if he has he's taking it in, or he's dishing it out. So for me, with his usage, I think 6 assists is a lot, man.
6 assists is really good for him, yeah.
You know, so that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, if we're just
I'm with you on that. I'm just saying from what they say around the NBA about LeBron's passing, and from what I've seen from Jokic reminds me of Arvydas Sabonis from back in the day.
I agree.
Who was a great.
I'm not saying that he passes like LeBron, but I think he
was good too.
The game like LeBron.
Right, right. Yeah. I agree, bro. I agree. Giannis is LeBron on steroids.
He's not. He doesn't have he doesn't have the 3-point shot. But you're gonna talk about a guy that, you know, it doesn't matter who's got.
LeBron got that late too. Giannis is 27, bro. LeBron got that late too. LeBron got his 3-point shot late in his career too. He didn't have it early.
Listen,
Pablo, what are your thoughts? Who do you think is the MVP?
I still think it'll be Jokic, because actually I was looking at the defensive ratings and rankings, and actually Jokic is probably ranked a little bit ahead of both Giannis and Embiid. So because I was curious about that when you mentioned it, AK, and I was looking it up on NBA.com.
That's only in rebounds, and maybe that's not an actual defense. Jokic will never make an all NBA first team defense.
I didn't say
never in his life.
I was still looking at that, but I think to me, at the end of the day, it was what I said in the pre-production. You have to split hairs now, because you can sit there and say he averages as many points per game and whatever. Okay, what's the difference? A point or two? I mean, it's not it's not a huge difference. They can score. Great, all three of them can score, right? Okay, you can't sit there and say, can they all do the same thing? Because Giannis is the most mobile out of all of them. Okay, so he'll have more assists or whatever. So so where is it that you have to start splitting those hairs? And like you alluded to, Dre, is where are these moments coming down the line? They went head to head, Giannis and Embiid, and it wasn't that their team beat their team. I don't care about that really, more so than that moment when he blocked Embiid at the end of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Signature moment for the season.
Going one-on-one in that moment, because you have to pick something. Because if you just go by stats, then you're just going to, at the end of the day, you're going to go, well, who do you like better? It's not even stats anymore, right?
My question is this. Who do you guys think has had more help? Jokic or Embiid?
Gotta be Embiid, even though he has had minimal help as well.
Yeah,
but Jokic,
not by a lot, but I mean, again, is that someone's part of their equation to split hairs on making a decision?
Right.
For sure Jokic hasn't had it since the beginning of the season. You could say here and there Embiid had someone more or less.
Why I'm starting to roll with AK, because Embiid had to answer Ben Simmons questions and shit, man, the whole time. That's probably annoying and
okay, if you want to add, quote unquote figurative baby mama drama, because that's what that was, right?
Right, that is.
If you want to put that into your formula, I'm not going to argue with you. I don't care about that. I think if you're an elite player, you're an elite player, and you just block out all the BS.
Yeah, but
it's cool,
Don't
but I
you
get
care
it.
Don't you care about the fact that Embiid and Giannis's teams are top 4 in their conference? Jokic's is not.
The difference, but then I'll tell you the difference in their win-loss record is 2 games.
True.
49 wins to 47 wins for Philly and Denver. Because now if you want to say, well, they're ranked 6th in the Western Conference, well, what does that mean? And they're ranked 4th.
I think the East is better than the West this year.
I do too. Top to bottom, I think the East is better. But I'm just gonna go put this one out with now that I might be leaning Jokic. He hasn't had Michael Porter or Jamal Murray this year.
Right.
You know, Embiid still has Tobias Harris. Now, Tobias Harris hasn't had his best season, but he has that chemistry flowing with him still. So he has somebody that averages 17 points a game. You know, so let's talk about who had more help. I would say Embiid has a little bit more help than Jokic.
Do you think Tobias Harris is better than Aaron Gordon?
Yes.
Yes.
As a scorer,
by a wide margin, like not without question?
Without question. I think Aaron Gordon doesn't have the shot like Tobias has. I don't think if he has the ridge rate. What Aaron Gordon does have, he's a better defensive player.
Certainly.
And he has hops.
But do you think Tobias has the J.R. Smith syndrome?
Yeah, of course.
The up and down shit.
Yeah, he's not going to be. You can't depend on him every single game.
And that's what I don't like. That's what I don't like.
He's not a killer. That's all. He's not a killer. And
I like him.
But J.R. Smith did hit some big shots.
Yeah.
Bro, J.R. Smith one time went off in the first half for 7 3-pointers. He had like 39 by the third quarter. J.R. Smith had some big games in that.
4 of those 3-pointers were on the other team's basket.
He came to my book signing.
He did?
Yeah, afterwards.
That's pretty cool.
Him and what's his name? Q-Tip.
That's pretty cool. That's what's up.
It was all dead and gone. Everybody.
Just to enjoy ourselves, just so you know, Tobias Harris makes more money than Jokic, Embiid, and Giannis year per year.
That is insane, bro.
Right.
Then he's definitely better. No, I'm kidding.
If you got someone stupid enough to pay, let's take it.
He was a max player when he got
just like you know, Joe Buck and Draymond getting a ridiculous amount of money for.
Yo, that's crazy. John, what are your thoughts? MVP?
I'm gonna say I could see it going to either Giannis or Embiid. That's what I'm gonna say. I can't argue either fact of them going to either two of them. Yeah.
Jen, any thoughts on MVP? Anybody? Me and Jen are just gonna sit this one out.
At the end of the day, like if either one, whoever gets, like if I'm leaning towards Jokic, but either to get it, I'm gonna be like, oh no, that's a travesty. No, it's not.
You know why this argument is fun? Because it's very similar to the KG Dirk Nowitzki argument about the defense puts KG over the top, but Dirk was a better pure shooter, and then the defense wasn't really that much because Dirk did get some blocks now. And it just looked like KG played way better defense, but in the system, Dirk played good defense too. So
we'll be having this conversation.
You brought up a good point, but there's a difference between help defense and locking somebody down. And
of course, bro, KG is one of the greatest of all time, and he gets in your head too. So all respect for him, but it's just that
we're gonna start having these conversations in about 2-3 years or so. You know, between Ja and Luka.
Right, facts.
Yeah, the league's in good hands. The league's in good hands. It has some up and coming stars.
Definitely, bro.
RJ Barrett, baby.
No one cares about big players.
The Ball brothers, LaMelo. All right. Okay, guys, we're gonna move on. I want to talk about. Hey, you guys. What do you guys think about the UNC Duke game? You know, the end of the Final Four, the UNC Duke game. We had Coach K's last hurrah. We had I was talking about Javi. Javi, what are your thoughts, man? Coach K's out of here, man.
Coach K! Without any freaking title in his last year, and I love it. F Duke. But anyways, I'm not a Duke fan, as you can tell. But I was rooting for UNC that game just because I just don't like Duke. But I'm not an ACC guy. But that game was absolutely awesome to watch. It was just back and forth, man. It was just back and forth. What was it, like 17 lead changes, 18 lead changes? It was just a great game to watch. But you know, let's take it real, man. You know, Coach K is one of the greatest coaches to ever coach college basketball. You know, he put that program on the map, and there's nothing but props that you could give to that guy, man. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm happy that he retired soon.
Okay. What do you call it? What are your thoughts on the Kansas game?
Woo!
No one cares about that.
Yes, we do. Hey, how do you go up 15 and really 16 and just lay an egg in the second half? Like, you completely lost the game within the first 10 minutes of the second half. Like, I just thought, total meltdown.
Who do you put that on, Javi? Because yesterday we were having that conversation. I said, that shit is coaching.
I think more than anything, you got to give props to Bill Self. He changed it up a little bit, right? He put McCormick up on the free throw line. So he had his center basically taking out their center.
It came down to coach versus coach, adjustments to adjustment. That's what happened.
But at the same time, McCormick was in foul trouble the first half. And that's where I think it went bad for Kansas. They were missing layups, man. They were missing wide open layups. And maybe the moment was just too big for them at the beginning. But it seemed like Bill Self calmed them down at halftime, because you just saw a completely different Kansas team in the second half coming out. They were poised. They were playing defense on every single possession. There was not one possession that they were not in your face. And then my boy Remy Martin just pouring it all, baby. Who is Remy Martin? I don't know, but I just love the name. Remy Martin. Woo! What a game. That guy just played.
So
that's hilarious. Kill, go ahead. Yes, sir. You're in.
Duke, North Carolina was a fun game. I'm not a fan of either of those teams. I grew up supporting Temple and Villanova and now Rutgers and, Jersey teams. But I've always liked the underdog. I'm not a fan of either of those teams. It was a good game. Hats off to Coach K for his career. I'm sure he'll be consulting somewhere for some squads, but good for him. I'll give credit where credit is due. I thought that the difference between Kansas and North Carolina, there was a 3-point game where I thought that you have a talent difference this year. Kansas had more talented team than UNC. And if you look at UNC's primary scorers, which are their two guards, Davis and Love, really good players, but they're not really good system players in an offense. You kind of need to give them the ball and let them rock out. So they're not running motion offenses the same way. Baycott underneath, great, best rebounder in the last 30 years in the NCAA tournament. But again, you give him the ball. He's not like a joker. He's not passing out of that double team really well. He's doing his move that he already knows what he's going to do in advance. So I thought North Carolina overachieved. I thought they had, they had some good players, but not players that are going to be able to run a system the way that Kansas's players were. I think that Javi had a great point. I think not having McCormick in the first half was big because there was nobody else. Like the backup big men for Kansas couldn't move Baycott at all. I thought Baycott getting hurt at the end was pretty big. Then you see who hit the last shot was McCormick, right? Yeah, so I think all of those things, the last two shots, right? So I think those things are all at play. Look, is Bill Self a better coach than Hubert Davis? I would assume so. He's been doing it a lot longer. But I don't think I'm not as tilted as some of you guys are that he just got completely out coached. I think there was a talent difference. And once they caught up, which was really quick in the beginning of the second half, they went toe to toe with each other, punch each other in the mouth. So I thought it was a fantastic. I love games like that, man. And more lately, it seems like we're getting those in the NCAA championship. So fantastic game, great day to be a college basketball fan. And as far as Kansas goes, props to Kansas. These blue bloods will win every 5 or 6 or 7 years, and this was their time. Everything's got to go right for you. So I don't care about Kansas either, but good for them. And then I don't know who's going to win next year, but 2 years from now, whoever gets DeJuan Wagner Jr., watch out.
Mm-hmm.
It's my Camden.
Camden.
That's my CMD shout out.
All right. Anybody else want to chime in on the playoff or the championship?
Well, let me just say, as a Tar Heels fan, yes, I'm glad we put Coach K away twice in his last home game. And, in the tournament, considering it was the first time they ever played each other in the tournament, And the overall record with Coach K at Duke and versus UNC is 50-50. So they kind of tied that up. So that's a win as a fan of the team. Yes, I was obviously elated that they made the championship. Nobody really thought realistically that was going to be the case. But I was really happy at halftime. I mean, I was like, they came out, balling. I was like, all right, just keep that same energy, because that's what it was. It was energy in the first half. It was hustling for rebounds. I mean, Baycott, UNC had 20 more rebounds in the game than Kansas, even though theoretically Kansas had the size. But Baycott had a shit ton of rebounds. But you're right, to your point, AK, after those first 10 minutes or so, they went toe-to-toe going there. And I think at the end, what was the difference from that point forward is just that UNC was missing open shots. They shot like 30%, 31% in the entire game from field goal percentage. So I think it was just missed open shots. I think they kind of they got hit in the mouth and they got tied up and then lost the lead. And then I think they got back to what they were doing in the first half, toe-to-toe. They were just missing shots at the end of the day. And I think that's just what it was. And you could say the talent went out, and enough for Kansas to get the win. So either way, I'm happy.
Okay. No, so my question is this, right? We're going to address that. Going in as a coach, there's a talent disparity. There's a big gap. You know that. He knew that. He knew that Kansas City had a more cohesive squad. They've been playing longer together. They were more mature. He knew there was a bit of a talent difference there at certain positions, especially. All right? And this is why I put a little more weight than you guys do on the coach. You know that. So you know that your first half was not the rule. It was more the exception. Because I doubt you thought that was going to be the outcome in the beginning. You're kind of excited that happened. Wow, we came out guns blazing in the first half. All right? But because this team is good, they're solid, they have a lot of cohesion, they have shooters, they got players. Do you really think, are you banking on the fact that that's what your second half is going to look like?
But Mike, they took what was given. McCormick had foul trouble in the first half.
Right.
But he didn't in the second half. And if he's the dominant one on from the size perspective against Baycott, then you have your shooters, which is Love and Davis. They had their shots. They missed a lot of their shots.
They also don't go as deep. They don't have the option to go more than one or two off.
Yeah, they only took.
So Mike, what did you want them to adjust to?
My thing is this: the game plan, right? The game plan was not what he did in the first half. The game plan was against the team that he saw in the second half. How did they look like such shit in the second half? They didn't look like shit. They didn't look like. Let me take that back.
They just missed open shots.
I want that back. Why did they not make? My point being is this. This is the only reason I'm addressing the coach. The team that they played in the first half was not the team that they prepared for. That's not the team they prepared for, because they're not prepared for this guy to be in foul trouble.
But you're not saying what they should have done in the second half. What should they have done in the second half?
I'm also not a basketball coach.
Attack the paint, attack McCormick, or take the jumpers that are open to you.
The key is this. Show me something. Adjustments. I don't know. That's where I'm saying.
That was the adjustment. They got the open shots.
I don't know.
Not only that, Pablo, I think Baycott shot 13 times plus like 8 free throws. So that means he's putting up the ball at the rim like 17 times. Go ahead, Bobby.
So what I was going to say is they weren't wide open shots either, though, Pablo. Like, Kansas definitely was playing better defense on that second half.
But the whole thing is that was supposed to be the game plan, to Mike's point, is it wasn't the original, because McCormick was in foul trouble in the first half, so they went in. So in the second half, with McCormick there dominating, they probably went to what was the original plan. Yeah,
so
not every shot was open.
Wait, you guys made the point.
What's your choice? But what's your basketball?
No. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you made the point. You said it yourself. Within a few minutes into the second half, you knew whatever you were doing was not working. Where is the adjustment?
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Like, the adjustment was they stopped the bleeding. They stopped the bleeding on the defensive side.
That's all I'm saying, though.
So they stopped the bleeding. You were getting gutted side.
Within the first 10 minutes of the second half, right? It tells me, hey, listen, man, Yo, number one, you didn't have your team ready to come back out in the second half. That's number one.
No question about that.
Number two, when you saw what was happening, my point, that's the team. The second half Kansas team is the team that I guarantee you kept Hubert Davis up at night.
Okay,
that's who we scouted.
But you're making it look like
And
he
this
didn't
is
make
the
any
best-
adjustments. So they got gutted in the first 10 minutes, right? If he didn't make any adjustments, they would have been gutted the whole half.
Okay,
So he made adjustments to stop the bleeding on defense. On offense, the shots weren't falling because you're either going to take your shots or you're going to attack McCormick with Baycott and with Man. So what would you do as a coach? You're going to attack their strength?
I don't know basketball like that. I just know when I see a coach not make adjustments.
What I'm saying is they did play a different game in the second half, and those shots weren't falling. And you're right, not all of them were wide open shots.
It's the tale of two halves, right? Everything was going right for UNC in the first half.
Terribly,
and Kansas
terribly in the second half.
And Kansas didn't. They were missing wide open layups, man.
They were too.
They were and then on the second half, they were making all their layups, while NC wasn't making their shots.
Yep.
You know, but obviously the defense intensity for Kansas in the second was, you could see it was more prevalent just for the fact that they needed to play that defense to get back into the game, and that energy never gave up throughout the whole second half.
It looked like Kansas got that St. Peter's speech at halftime.
They
That's what it
probably
looked
did.
like.
They probably
You know what I'm
did.
saying? And I don't know. I don't know. You're in the championship game. I mean, look, maybe I'm being hard on the coach. Okay, whatever.
Listen, bro, but I'm just.
It's a first-year head coach.
It is.
Big shout out to Bill Self for the fact that, like, he just put Remy Martin and he rode him the last 8 minutes of the game.
Yeah,
and he was huge. He was huge. That guy. It was just like anything he shot went in. And I was like, yo, who is this guy? I love the name. Obviously, I'll say that again. But like, who was this guy that you didn't see him at all play this well throughout the whole game? And all of a sudden, the last 8 minutes, it's like he's the one that kind of took over for Kansas. You know, even though McCormick made the last two shots, if it wasn't for Remy Martin, we're not talking about Kansas winning the championship. We're talking about UNC winning the championship right now.
Yeah. I maybe I'm being too hard on the coach. You're probably right. You guys all made good points. I think that
give it up to Hubert Davis, baby. Ex-Nick, baby.
It's a first year coach. I am looking at him. You're right. That's what you guys said that resonated the most. He's a first year coach. It's like, until you're in that moment, until you're walking in those shoes, now I guarantee you he doesn't make that mistake ever again. He's going to have his team ready, and he's going to have a not one adjustment. He's going to go 2, 3, 4 deep when it comes to adjustments in the second half. Oh, A doesn't work, B. Let's go. B doesn't work, C. Because I'm sure that's what the great coaches do. You know what I mean? But we're gonna move on. There's some notable stuff that happened this week. One of them we talked about, Aaliyah Boston. I know Dre had mentioned Aaliyah Boston. Dre, you there? I mentioned Aaliyah Boston, so it's Sean. You were telling me how that's such a big deal and how she's somebody that the WNBA is not promoting the way you think they should.
No, they're not. They don't have the capacity to promote somebody with her potential marketability yet. I don't know if they're moving in that direction, but somebody coming out of college like she is should be getting rolled out like Zion was.
Yes.
And it's impossible to roll somebody out like that for the WNBA, unfortunately.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know what it is, and this is going to be sad to say. I hate to have to say this. A WNBA, right? As pro LGBTQ as they are, I feel like they still submit to the fact that you almost have to have a pretty face for them to get behind you and market you. You know what I mean? You don't necessarily have to be feminine, overly feminine, but you have to be attractive in some way. And I think that part of it is her not giving a shit about what people think. She goes out there and she balls and she fucking You know what I'm saying? She just got her hair on. She's just ready to ball. She's not looking all, you know what I mean? I think that's affecting her. I really do. But she's a monster. I went back and looked at some highlights on her, bro. She's a monster. Anybody else want to talk to Leah Boston?
No, but shout out to South Carolina.
You could tell that her footwork. You could. I mean, the women's NCAA tournament is you don't hear about it like you hear about the men's tournament. So she was killing, and nobody knew about it. You know what I'm saying, bro? Her drop steps and stuff. She looks like she was getting taught by Hakeem Olajuwon.
Wow.
And nobody's talking about this girl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not fair, bro. It's not fair that the WNBA don't have the ability to roll her out in the way that she deserves.
Is she the one that missed the game-winning shot against Baylor last year and South Carolina lost in the chip?
I believe so, bro. And she was crying, and Dawn Staley had to grab her, and I think so, yes.
Aaliyah told us, I mean, if first you don't succeed, lift yourself up and try again.
I knew he was coming with that shit.
She's certainly one in a million the way she knows how to rock the boat and work the middle.
AK, man, I'm telling you, bro. You're going to get fired one day for them jokes.
What do you call it? Anything else notable you guys want to talk about that happened in the world of sports? Anybody?
I just read this. I don't know much about it, but apparently Atlanta traded for the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft, and I don't know why. I have to look at it, but they were the 2 names they gave were not Aaliyah Boston for their number 1 pick. I'm not sure why.
Well, is Paige Beckers? Is it one of them the point guard?
No, it was 2 other girls that I hadn't heard of, but I don't know if maybe Beckers and Aaliyah Boston aren't coming out. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe not. Because they would be the number 1 and 2 if they were coming out.
Yeah.
I wonder if they got some overseas chicks coming in.
Yeah.
That's why we probably haven't heard about them.
I want to announce something coming up. We didn't get to it today, but we're going to be starting a segment with Dre and Javito about World Cup soccer, man. There's a lot of things going on in the news. I know one of the things that I wanted to talk about was something I posted in the group. They're saying that England versus the United States on the day after Thanksgiving might be the biggest game in American soccer history. You guys agree with that? You guys think it's going to be?
No.
The biggest what?
Okay.
No, definitely not. The USA beat Germany in the World Cup in 1998 in France. That was their biggest win of all time.
Okay. What do you call
Just
it?
the way Germany scored first, and then the US blew the gates off. They won the game. Remember, Javi? It was like 4-1 or something.
Yeah.
Everybody thought the US was on their way,
but they weren't.
That shit sounds like World War II.
I think what there's going to be a lot of pride, obviously, right? We broke away from England, right? So there's always that talk.
If it wasn't for us, they'd be sprechen Sie Deutsch. No. They'd be speaking German. No.
But it will be watched. It will be watched. It will be, World Cup gets watched around the world. I'm just not too sure about, if American TV is gonna be glued to it.
Right. Biggest stories. American TV is gonna be glued to it. Less 15% because Italy's not in it, and a lot of Italian Americans. They pull out the Immobile jerseys and the Salvatore Scalaccis and stuff like that. The old ones. The Lotto ones from back in the day.
Oh, wow.
When Italy got games going on. So Italy not being there is kind of like a little bummer.
So, folks, I'm really excited because Dre and Javi are going to be putting up a segment coming up in the next couple of weeks. We're going to be putting up a segment all about World Cup soccer talk, man. If you're into soccer, tune in. I'm going to be putting out the announcement. It's going to be Dre and Javi. We might see if they want to bring in some friends or two that talk soccer.
I got people.
I know Dre got some people.
For sure.
Do like a round table and talk World Cup soccer, get excited about America, their grouping with England, and a couple of the other things that go on. So
They
that's going
gonna
to be
get
coming soon.
their ass whooped, dog.
Woo! Oh my God. So that'll be coming up. Outside of that, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming up in a little bit over an hour now.
Mike,
This
one
has been-
thing.
Go
Mike,
ahead.
one thing. Props to those who won their fantasy basketball leagues.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
see mine next year.
That's
Yeah,
a
that
long-
shit is tough, man. Shit is like
That's a
Russian
long
roulette.
season, bro. That's a long season, man. Baseball, I don't know how people do baseball. I'll never understand how people do baseball, man. That's a long ass season, bro.
I can't even watch one game.
Oh man, let me tell you something. I had third base line seats for Yankees. Yankees. I forget who it was. Right? Yo, we're in Yankee Stadium, third base line, right behind the dugout. Fucking monster athletes. Yo, by the fourth inning, I was like, yo, I want to go home.
Exactly.
Dude, it was in the middle of the week and the shit was dead. I was like, I couldn't take this shit, man. I had to get out of there. Now, on the flip side of that, whenever you go to a Boston Yankees game or you go to a Mets Yankees game,
That's hype.
it's dope. It's a dope. I guess so. You know what I mean? I personally think they could cut the season in half and nobody would give a shit. But
Right.
hey, we'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Sports is My Love Language podcast. Once again, man, we don't have to agree, but you know what? It's okay. Bring your thoughts. Bring your opinion. Let us know what you think. Whether it's a great point from Javi, Trey, a fact from Pablo, chiming in on the rules from Sean. It's going to be something. Hey, man. Or if it's a dad joke from Akil, we're all here for it. Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, join us Wednesday nights, 8 o'clock. We're here for you. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to walk out on you like your dad did. We'll be here. We're going to love you regardless.
We won't adopt you.
We will adopt you. We will love you. Check it out. Wednesday night, the Sports is My Love Language podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Take it easy, people.
Peace.